Okay. So one of you can confirm whether you're able to see my screen.
Yes, it is visible,
Yes, yes.
Shubhaprada.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Great. So good morning, everyone. And as per your time zone, right, whether it's a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, thanks for joining. I know Anand, you're joining from Netherlands, so I think it's pretty late for you, but thanks for joining in.
It's morning, early morning.
Early morning, Heather. Good. Okay, thanks for joining. Anyway, so we have been running this webinar for quite some time. In the last webinar that we conducted, I mean, the last session that we conducted, so there were a few questions on the basics, right? So people were still looking for, and that is one of the biggest problem that AI is coming as a disruption to all of us, but people are still not very clear on some of the right common terminologies, right, which we are commonly using all the time. We are using, and they are still not very clear on what is there, right, on those AI, Gen AI, what is GPT, and what is LLM, right? What is the difference between the generative AI and AI, or maybe agentic AI, etc., etc. So we thought like, why don't we kind of press a reset switch and let's take a step back and start from the beginning again. So that's the reason like we are coming with a AI basics and the glossaries. For some of you who are veteran in this topic, right, it might be a little cliche and repetitive for you, but I'm sure, right, some of you will be right getting some benefit out of it. And of course, in the coming days, we'll be coming up with some advanced topics as well. But we are going to start with some basic concepts here. So the purpose for today's discussion is to some right basic understanding of AI, right? What are the common terminologies that we commonly use, and then what are the different type of or different dimensions of AI that we commonly use. So I'm sure like all of you might be familiar with this terminology without having a clear understanding of what are these things and how these are practically used in the real-time situation. Now, one of these things is very common, that is the machine learning. I'm sure like AI ML is a very common term and everyone is hearing, but actually what is happening behind the scene that very few right people know. So that is that is the first topic. Second topic is deep learning, right? Third one is computer vision and how these are different. Now, how these can be interchangeably right applied. Now, many people may be thinking that, okay, where we are applying machine learning, we cannot apply the computer vision, or maybe where we are applying the robotics, we cannot apply the deep learning, but that's completely wrong. Now, because we don't have much time out here, but in case of detailed sessions, we generally cover in some case study that what are the things you can think that you can use. I mean, what are the dimensions of AI can be used on those areas? Like whenever we are doing a robotic surgery, is it only that robotics that is being applied out there, or you can also apply some other things there? You can, of course, apply the deep learning out there because that mimics the human brain, right? So that is why it's a kind of hybrid model, I would say, right? Not a particular thing can be used for a particular situation. Now, when we talk about robotics, right, when we talk about NLP, that natural language processing, right, like whenever we talk about Alexa, Siri, right, so where typically like NLPs are being used. In fact, in also many of these modern cars or advanced car also, we are using the NLPs. Okay, so we'll just go a little deeper, but we will not be able to cover, of course, all the dimensions. So today our target is to set the context of AI. What are the different types of AI? What are the different types of variants of AI and the different dimensions? And today we'll go deeper into the machine learning. In the subsequent sessions, we may need to cover the deep learning, computer vision, robotics, and NLP as well. Now, without further delay, let's talk about, sorry for that too much of verbiage here, but we wanted to cover some basics of AI. Now, what is AI? First of all, just let me just see, some people are waiting in the waiting room. One sec. Okay. So, what is basically AI? So we have been, it's not something that which has come up recently, but of course it has got a lot of popularity and a lot of visibility, right, in these days. But it has been there for the last 30 years, 40 years, when Anand, me, and many other folks like who have been right studying in the area, studying in the decades of 90s or 200, 2000. That time we also learned the kind of AI. But it had, that's a different, separate form of discussions. Why all of a sudden it is getting too much of popularity? Right? That's a different disruption discussion, which you don't want to get into. But predominantly, we have seen earlier also that AI was used mostly for the analytical work or analytical thinking. We know that behind the Amazon, behind any other recommendation system or fraud detection or medical diagnosis, like right, AI has been used, right? AI was used extensively. But what has been, right, what we have been seeing recently, that it has come to the reach of the common people, that everyone can now start accessing AI. Maybe we were using AI agent or AI in a through a different right thing. Let's say Google. So Google was using AI in the background. Let's say Amazon. Amazon was using right AI in the background. But extensively, if someone is asking you this question, are you using AI? That time you're saying, no, no, I'm not using AI, but maybe the machine that I'm using or maybe the web browser that I'm using, maybe they are doing the search based on AI. But today, what you are happening is you are right accessing AI for your own benefit. And that is where the generative AI comes into picture. Now use generative model to create the new data points such as text, images, music, and the videos. So now it is not only giving you the suggestions, but the way you are expecting the answers to be, or the PPT to be, or the word to be, or the image to be, or the Excel to be, it is doing it for you. So you go to a chat GPT, you ask for, let's say, prepare a questionnaire on this particular topic, it will create that. You ask and you go, you come up with a kind of project planning report for me, it will create for you. Now, if you want it to be right generated in the PPT format or in the textual format or in the image format for that matter, it will generate for you. So basically, like GenAI applications can mimic the artistic style, can compose music, and generate the artwork. And you have seen that, like there are a lot of right AI generated voices, right videos, like which are also getting generated. That is where the GenAI is coming into picture. Now, the third area, right, which is again very commonly used, is called the agentic AI. I'm sure like all of you have heard about Alexa. So what is happening in Alexa, right? What is happening? Like you are just giving them the instruction and it is doing it for you. So basically, it is acting like an agent for you, right? It's an assistant for you, AI assistant or AI agent for you. So it refers to the system that use sophisticated reasoning and iterative planning to autonomously solve problem, multi-step problem. Now you are telling the Alexa, you are giving it a direction, but it may not be having, it may be having some roadblocks in its path. So that time it is using its own intelligence, right? Detecting the kind of roadblock. And then it is based on its own intelligence or the data fed into it, it will take the action and it will be doing it for you. It does not require human intervention all the time. So that is where the agentic AI comes into picture. Now developers can write good logical code using GitHub, right? And there are various other aspects also where the AI agents can be used. Now AI agents can be used for the healthcare, right? So where right where it can analyze, it can create the, it can generate the report for you, right? It can do the real time analysis for you. Now it can be used for the customer service, as we said that Amazon Alexa, or maybe Sephora, and also it can be used for the retail and e-commerce, right? So FedEx, right? So they are using the AI agent as the AI assistant for them. Now, this is a very, very common question from everyone. Okay, then in a simple language, can you tell me what is the difference between AI, generative AI, right, and the agentic AI? So in the last session, I explained that the fundamental difference between AI and the Gen AI is right analyzing the data and giving you some recommendation, and of course it is doing a lot of analysis behind the scene. But whenever it comes to the Gen AI, right, it can create the content for you, right? If you want to go for a right PPT, now you may not need to generate the PPT. You can just tell them, okay, now you create a PPT on generative AI, or let's say agentic AI for me. It will generate like at least 5-6 slides for you if you're really in a hurry, and it will generate the content for you. I can go ahead and present it. In fact, sometimes, like you must have seen that, and there is no shame in saying that sometimes we are using writing the blogs. Maybe we are writing the basic content, and they are saying, then after that we are saying that, okay, now this is the basic content, you do it, you do a little bit of rephrasing out that. So yeah, he'll do it for you. Correct? So these are there are various ways, right? We are using the AI these days. Now coming to the agentic AI. Now agentic AI focuses on the autonomous decision making and the right task execution. So you give the instruction, it will do it for you. Maybe a little bit of analysis, right? Or maybe an annual report. Now there are a lot of right agentic AI, lot of AI agents are available which can do it for you, and this is one of the very, very promising area which can solve or save a lot of our time and increase our productivity by right solving this repetitive problem for us. And one of the the last point which I wanted to cover in this slide is the GPT, because everyone is talking about chat GPT. But if I tell you that, okay, you ask, right, many people, like you can ask anyone, right, okay, what is the full form of GPT? I would say 90% of the people will not be able to tell you what is the full form of GPT. So GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which can generate the right content for you, right? Like Chat GPT, like Gemini, right? If you go to Copilot, GitHub, I mean, the Copilot, all these things are coming under these, right? Generative pre-trained transformers. Now, coming to the right, what are the different types of AI, right? You might be interested in that. Now, there are three types of right AI at this point. One is called NAI, right? ANI, that is called the artificial narrow intelligence. It is specialized to perform a single narrow task, but it does not understand or think beyond its programming. So that means based on the data you are feeding, based on the algorithm you are putting in, it will do the things for you. That's a very common form of right AI, and which is currently being used. Like Siri, Alexa, Google search engine, any AI that you are seeing right around you, it is based on this artificial narrow intelligence. Then the next one is called artificial general intelligence, AI that can understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a wide range of tasks like a human. Still, it is not there in the market. Still, it is in the analysis and the research phase. It is a hypothetical situation. Let's say pass a university degree in physics or writing a best-selling novel. Now, right, maybe there may be a days coming like where you are not going to get any new writer coming up, because the content will be, you just give them the theme, right? You just give them the content, whether it's a mystery or any other genre you specify, it will generate the content for you. Entire novel will be generated for you. Design a new vaccine, but are they still there in the market? No, it is still not there. It is still in the R&D phase. And the third one is the ASI, that is artificial super intelligence. AI that is far beyond human intelligence in every field: scientific, creativity, general wisdom, and the social skill. Now, I'm sure like all of you have seen that movie called Terminator. Remember the villain? Like it was auto healing, or maybe the Terminator himself, right? It was an auto healing machine, and sometimes it was generating multiple right replication of that particular model in the right. So those are beyond our imagination. Now, some of the examples which it can do, like it may solve the global warming. Now, these are all hypothetical. Don't believe on that. But we are expecting it should be that level of intelligent, right, that it can solve the global warming in weeks, maybe cure all the diseases. Like we are doing a lot of research in cancer. Maybe artificial superintelligence can solve the cancer problem in just a second. Redesign economy. That's an aspirational view for us, right, on the ASI, which is still not there. Create right new science beyond the human understanding. These are all the types of AI. Now, coming to the right 5 key knowledge area or the dimensions of AI which are most commonly used. Number one, machine learning, right, which is the most commonly used area, and we are going to focus more on that. So incredibly versatile algorithm to learn the pattern with the minimal human intervention. So here it is completely based on the different type of data, whether it is a labeled data or unlabeled data, right? So we will talk more about that, right? Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, reinforced learning, right? All these things will be coming under this machine learning. Now, which is typically based on the data and the different algorithms fed into it. The second point is the deep learning, which we typically call mimicking the human brain, human intelligence. Human intelligence is the AI, but here we are mimicking the human brain. So uses neural network behind the scene. So you must have heard about convolutional neural network or recurrence neural network or recursive neural network. Those things are being used out here. The third thing is the computer vision. Like a Tesla. Tesla is coming up with a self-autonomous, right, or self-driving car. So how will it understand whether I have got a bottleneck in front of me? Someone is crossing the road. So it should be able to understand that, and then you take an action. Now, simple example is the DigiYatra. I'm sure all of you know about it. So how the computer understands, how computer matches, right, your picture, and then once you go to the, so your initial picture is fed into the data, or maybe any biometric for that matter. Right, DigiYatra is a new one, right, but biometric has been there for quite some time. So it does that analysis, and wherever you go, right, it will match your image with that original image fed into it, and then it will take an action. Then the robotics. Now these days the surgeries, right? The typical micro surgeries are done not by the human but by the robotics. And of course, like the instruction is given, right? The initial instructions are fed to the robotics and it will take the actions accordingly. Remember, it is assisting the human. And last but not the least, it is the NLP, that is the natural right language processing, helping computer understand and make sense of the textual data. So whenever you are speaking, giving instruction, right, it is hearing it out and processing it accordingly, following the instruction for you. Right? So this is how we are looking into the right different dimensions of AI. Now coming to the right next point, right now we are getting into the detailing of it. Right? What is the machine learning? So machine learning is helping about, sorry about that, just a moment. Right. It is helping the computer learn the patterns from the data with the limited. Now this is the most important area and which is very commonly used and which is in the reach of every AI user for that matter. Now, by learning this pattern, the next time the computer sees something similar, it knows what decisions to make. So first one is called the supervised learning, which is fed, right, which is depending on the label data. That you know, this is, he is a good student, she's a good student. So he is a good customer, he's a bad customer, he's a defaulter customer. So next time, whenever these analyses are being done, let's say on a fraud detection, let's say the loan, you must be hearing from the bank that, okay, we don't do anything. The system will decide whether you're eligible for this card or what. How can it decide? Like based on a CIBIL score, it has already, right, maybe marked you as a good customer or maybe a bad customer. And based on the latest data that you are feeding, it will decide, it will automatically decide and give the recommendation whether or how much loan can be given to that person. Now, of course, there can be any exception rule on top of it, but that is beyond the AI. But AI will give you the initial instruction. That's a supervised learning. We'll give you more right insight around that. Next is the unsupervised learning, right? 90% of our data are the unlabeled data. Now, depending on this unstructured or unlabeled data, how can AI organize this data into certain groups? Okay. Now, these students have been doing good, right? Now, based on certain algorithm, they can decide, okay, this is the result, right, of the class of maybe let's say ICSE or CBSE, right? This is the result. And then it can create a group. Okay, these are the students who are good in the science subject. These are the good students who can do potentially good in the right in the medical stream. These are the potential students who can do good in humanities, right? Something like that. It can come up with some group, basically which we call clustering. And then the next one is called the semi-supervised learning. It's a continuous process. So basically, you are giving them a label data, maybe a couple of label data. Let's say you are showing them an apple, red apple. So it understands its shape, it understands the color. Now, after that, whenever you are going to show you a green apple, it might be initially failing because that's an unlabeled data. You're not telling him what is this fruit and you are asking for their opinion. And later, like once you say that, no, this is not like it is, if it is saying no, then you are not happy with the response. So you may be giving no, this is also a kind of apple. So it learns very quickly. And then next time, if you're coming up with a third type, it will start doing a better analysis and it will give you a better outcome. So it's a continuous learning process. The last one is called the reinforcement learning. So it is, sorry, someone talking? Yeah, can you go on mute, please, if you're not talking? Thank you so much. Okay. So reinforcement learning is also how can we, right, teach the model continuously based on some reward, right, or the punishment, right? Or I mean, basically like or dislike. And it's a continuous process. So basically, let's say your favorable way of learning is like your favorite subject is, let's say, artificial intelligence or maybe right project management. But if you are right doing something different than the project management, then we are giving you a reward. That's you are adopting a new skill. So slowly you start adopting that skill and you start bringing or you started building your capability around that time. So it's a reward based learning. So after that, like if anyone is asking, let's say you are getting into a consulting role or something, and you start learning from the different concept and you become a very good consultant later point in time. And we are going to give you a lot more example around that. right? So let's move on quickly, right? We know that we have spent almost, so I'll just talk for next 7 minutes. After then, we'll open up for the questions. So the first thing is the supervised learning. So as I said, it is based on the label data. Now, email spam detection, how does it understand, right? Whether which email is a spam and which email is a non-spam? If you remember, like 10 years back, 20 years back, it was not that efficient. There were many genuine emails also, it was going into the kind of spam folder. But now that with the advancement of the AI, right, or the supervised learning, literally in a very few cases, it makes that error, right? So only those real things are actually going into the spam folder. Rest of the things are staying in your right in your inbox. So basically, a model is trained on email labeled spam, right, or not spam to classify the new incoming mails. Now, in various organizations, right, like the emails are blocked. You cannot send that email outside, or you cannot receive the email from outside unless and until you give a particular tag. So based on that level, let's say personal or confidential, whenever you are tagging it or labeling it, in my organizations, we are doing it. So we are tagging it either right internal or public or confidential or a third party or a client specific, etc. And without that, it will not allow me to send that email unless I do that labeling. And naturally, you can understand there is a behind the scene, there is some AI agent is running. Now, depending on whether I'm doing it as a personal or public, it will send that email outside or it will not send the email. Like, let's say it's a confidential data or an internal. Now, internal mail, you cannot right accept, or you cannot expect that to go outside, right, of your firewall. So that is how we are protecting ourselves. Loan default prediction, I already right gave you the instruction. Historical customer data labeled as defaulted or not defaulted is used to predict this risk of new applicant, because there are a lot of fraudulent right loan disbursing happening. So we need to see the historical evidence of that person. Like, we are asking for a lot of information about that people, and accordingly we take the decision. Next is unsupervised learning, right, which is completely on the unlabeled data. And as I said, we are going to create some clustering. Okay, these are the good people who have been always right repaying the loan on time. Just giving an example. Or maybe these are the people who have been right in regular basis. They are right taking this level of medicine. They are our customer. They are prospective returning customer. Correct. Now, if you go to a hotel, right, you remember that in a hotel there are different type of customer they are detecting. Let's say is a guest user. That means he does the checking once in a lifetime. Now, if he's a repeat customer, that he does the check-in right once in every year based on the historical data, they give them some additional privilege. If you are a repeat customer every quarter, it will give you some additional privilege. Like those who are traveling very frequently through flight, you know that you get some additional point. Like Indigo, they have introduced a new one called Indigo Blue Chip. Those who are regular, right, traveling through flights, right, something like that. So you are, is it going to give to everyone? No, it is not going to give it to everyone. So if you're a repeat person, based on that pattern, it will decide that okay, whom to give that additional blue chip point or not. Anomaly detection in the network traffic, another example. In the interest of time, let's move on. Semi-supervised learning, like this is the one I was telling about. Like I'll give you an apple initially, right? That's the label data. But after that, I'm going to give you a lot of pictures about apple, maybe of different color or something different variant. This is especially applicable for right the different type of animal, because there can be different type of right models or I would say species of the kind of animals available in that same kingdom or whatever, right? So if you can initially show that, okay, this is a tiger or this is a cat, and after that you show that different pictures of cat, it will slowly learning. Initially, it has the basic picture of the apple, basic picture of the cat in mind. That's the label data. But initially, it may be able to recognize, may not be able to recognize if you show the other forms of cat. But right, as soon as you start feeding them more and more unlevel data, it will start learning from there, and it will become right more intelligent accordingly. Now the next thing is the sentiment analysis, right? Now this is typically done again on the right. He is my good customer. He is my bad customer. They are my good team member. They are my bad team member. Like sentiment analysis is very important in these days, right, in the IT industry, right? So many managers are doing it just to see the right, to see the vibe of the team members. How are they really satisfied? Are they really feeling stressed out, right? So we can do that by, it's a different way of doing a psychometry. Earlier we used to do a psychometry test. Last but not the least, it's a reinforcement learning. So it is typically fully based on the reward recognition model. So right, so initially, like we are feeding you some of the basic chase. Let's talk about some chase game. So we are giving you, right, some initial basic chase, because you cannot really teach a robot all the moves which can be possible here. Maybe you are, right, giving them hundreds or thousands of the chase moves. But now you create a situation where none of these chess moves will be, right, working there directly. So let us see like how it is responding. Now, if it is responding in the right way, even in an adverse situation, you give them a reward so that it can understand it is my right move. But if you give a thumbs down or a right, not, you did not like it, so it can understand immediately that was not a right move. So it will learn from there and do a quick course correction. Right? So we'll stop here. I know we have spent around 30 minutes. Now I'll just open it up for everyone. Now, before taking up the question, what has been, right, my right question to rather all of you, I would like to hear from you first, because you guys are coming into picture, you are the guy coming and joining these sessions. So maybe I'll just start with Anand. So Anand, like in your organizations, right, or maybe in your day in, day out life, what are the area where you have seen that AI is being used? And I mean, how are you seeing the prospect?
Okay. So thanks for giving me the opportunity, Shubho. And first of all, I would say it's a good initiative what you are running in, right? So congrats for that. So in my area, okay, I play a role of RT in one of the banks here in Netherlands. So we have recently introduced Copilot. Recently means it's been 6 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we have done is here it's more of a data and analytics work which we do, right? So it's a lot of, and these days we are moving away from the tool-based coding like we used to have in IBM, like called data stage or
Right,
Informatica,
right,
into more of a programming thing, right? Like Python, PySpark, Scala, those
correct.
kinds of things. Basically, we are going for PySpark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is inexpensive. It's like PySpark is cheap.
Right.
It's more powerful than these things. So, a lot of work which has come in is the Informatica to PySpark conversion, which is
Mm-hmm.
happening in, right? Or I would say migration, conversion, whatever you call it, the code
Right,
conversion.
right.
So we did a hackathon where we used Copilot to
Mm-hmm.
convert the Informatica code into a PySpark code.
Okay.
Well, we it was not that easy, right? In the AI was good enough, Copilot was good, the Copilot or the GPT behind it was good enough to convert the one-to-one, I would say, mapped ETLs into PySpark. But whenever there's a complexity, it was asking, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am not able to get it. Okay, what should we do?
Correct.
So what we did was we did coaching the AI or training the AI kind of a thing. We created hell bit of text which is there in the shared folder, and
Right.
every developer updates it, right? Okay, he is transforming a lookup. Okay, this is how the lookup works. So AI
Mm-hmm.
comes to know, oh yes, and we are saving that text, because uh, if we don't do it again, then probably it may not remember, and then we may need to
Exactly.
again redo it, right?
Right.
So we have kept it in the shared, and we are saving this entire coaching or a training material for Copilot.
Wow.
And once, like, let's say you put an enter, and then the 1,000 lines it has read in, right?
Correct.
It is good enough to do 80 to 90% of code conversion,
Correct.
right, into PySpark. So that is where we are using in. That is like automatic code generation, or I would say code conversion or migration.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we are using it for documentation, test cases, right? Creating user stories, right? Acceptance criteria.
Okay.
So it's been very powerful for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful thing for us.
Good. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Proshun, like you are like in your area, where are you seeing the possibility, right, of using AI? Or maybe if you're using AI, would you like to share some light around that?
First of all, very good morning to all of you. And I think, Shubhabat, it's a very good initiative. Am I here?
Yes, yes.
Am I
We can hear
audible?
you. Yeah, yeah. We can hear you well. Go ahead.
I think it's a very good initiative conducted by you. And but I think that what's the basic objective of this session? Because this is the first time I participated in this event.
Mm-hmm.
So first, what is the objective of this session? I want to know. And secondly, I say as I am deeply in the service industry, basically it's IT service industry.
Right.
So here I think every day I think there is a actually we are using some RFID based AI tool.
Uh-huh.
So basically, these are the RFID based IT tools, predicts the machines running and the maintenance of the machines.
Correct.
So different kinds of customer we are handling. So basically, they are using some RFID based AI model, AI tools, and they capture the maintenance activities and how the periodical we carried out this maintenance things or any kind of IT equipments.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the best thing that I noticed that in the future also this AI RFID based AI tools will be helpful and it will be the next biggest opportunities for all of us who are
Right.
in the IT industry.
Right. So let me first answer your question. This is just a forum to build the awareness, because AI is right coming everywhere. It's a kind of not a buzzword, but it's also kind of disruption, and we of course would like to embrace this disruption, right? And this is the best way to learn from each other, because I can give you right my insight on the area which I'm working on. Like Anand can give you insight from the area that he's working on. Dola can give you insight from her area of work, right? So it's a hybrid platform. Maybe we can hear from the students, like how are they being taught and how are they applying AI in their own area, right? So this is a forum that where we can exchange our discussions. In fact, it is not only that I have to always go and present, right? You are always open to come share with your topics, right? And come up with a kind of 20 to 25 minutes of presentation. I would, right, definitely request Prashun you to come up and, right, share your area, right, how AIs are being used, or maybe what are the prospective or the future you are seeing on your area. I would maybe requesting Anand, right, to share. I've already requested Dola to share how AI can be used in the healthcare area, right? So this is the forum that we are creating for, right, sharing our knowledge. Hope that clarifies your question.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Okay. So, Onnesh, like I have a question for you. I know that you have just or you're pursuing your BBA. So, in your course curriculum, are you seeing that like AI is also getting introduced, or if there is any, right? What are the area you are seeing that possibility of using AI in your area? If you're free to talk.
Yes, sir, I am free to talk.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking this question. It's a good question. So, sir, regarding this, AI can be implemented in my field, like in marketing, to explore many opportunities. Like we can conduct market research and search for possibilities, and we can also like we can use AI to take out data and extract data from huge sources in a very short amount of time.
Correct.
So it has really made work easy for us. So looking forward to it.
Right. So I hope, like, especially in your area, like you are getting a lot of unstructured data and you have to do a lot of data mining, data analysis to come up with some model, like, which can be helpful for you for the predictive analysis. Correct. So how you can, right, a
Right, sir.
particular product can be sold in certain area or something like that. Hope I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. And honest, like, is it a kind of is there any subject or topic, right, in your course curriculum on AI? I would like to be very interested in that.
Yeah,
Or
there is a subject, predictive analysis, which comes in third year.
exactly. Right. I was thinking so. Okay, good.
And
Thank you.
also we are
Uh-huh.
learning, yes, sir.
No. Finish your
And
thought, please.
also, sir, we are learning to like associate AI with statistics and all that. We are already doing that.
Okay, so are you creating any algorithm or agent for you, or is it part of your curriculum, or it's just for your learning purpose?
No, it's just for learning till now.
Are you? Have you been included into defining your own algorithm or something like that? Because especially in the market industry, which I can understand, this clustering, right, what I just talked about, right, clustering is a very important, because in a market, typically in a market area, market segmentation or user segmentation is a very prospective area, right, and that is something which you guys are working as a survey. So and AI can be strongly used based on the historical data of those customer, and we can create some some market segment or a user segment accordingly, which typically Amazon is doing, right? Amazon, whenever they're
Yeah,
selecting a kind
surely.
of group of customers. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, surely we can segregate market buying behaviors and everything and group them accordingly. So we will use it in our third year to make our project. Till now,
Correct.
we haven't.
Correct. So I know that like those who are in the service industry, and right, I know that we have got less than 1 minute time. I'm sorry for that. It's a free version of Zoom. Like for the NPS, right? We know that Net Promoter Score. So we divide them between the kind of promoter, satisfier, and detractor or something like that. And based on the historical data, we know that okay, this customer has never been a right promoter for this particular company. Right? They are always kind of never promoting us. They are satisfying but never promote us to right other clients. So you can do a lot of customer analysis, like the people who are, I know that the people who are into the kind of pre-sales consultant, they are having a lot of customer relationship